Dang it, I gotta redo this. Okay. This is the second take on this. I did it the first time, and I'm so excited about finding something new and interesting, but yet familiar, that I did a review of this, and I showed every page. And I don't want to do that, because this is a thumbs up. I want you to go buy this. Thanks. Good night, everybody. Thanks for your time. No, I'm kidding. This is the shortest review ever, 20. This is Protector. I don't know any of these. I've never really heard these names before. Really great cover. It's a really cool cover. Has kind of feels like Akira, but this is something that's been done before. It's sort of set in the future. This post, here's credit where credit's due. This sort of post-apocalyptic future where humanity has kind of gone backwards in technology, which would be really hard to do when you think about it, because we have language, because we have written language. We're not going to go from this age right now to, hunter-gatherer. You would have to wipe out like everybody. We'd have to start over again to do that. But we're not going to do that because of those things. It's just like people like to do it when in sci-fi, when they go to the future, like something happened and now we're doing horse-drawn carriages again, just things like that. It just wouldn't happen. But I'll allow it because it's done respectfully. It's not overdone. It's done well. So we have these people, and there are people, and this sort of builds a very interesting world. I like the colors. I like the art. It's, you can see this is very much a comic book style, but it's very stylized, but it's done really well. So this is basically a slave labor camp, and this girl from the slave labor camp has escaped. She's making a run for it. The boss sends three guys to go catch her and bring her back. She winds up going down in this cave. This has been done. You've heard this before. This has been done a lot. Somebody is on the run. They stumble along some super high-tech weapon. They wind up being the only one it bonds with, and the only one who can use it. And there you go. You run with your story from there. Like I said, it's familiar. It's been done a lot, but it's respected, and it's done in a way that they care about the craft of the world. They care about the character. They care about the story building. She's getting chased by these three dudes, and she gets cornered in this cave. Now she's bleeding because she just fell, and it drips down onto this sort of NATO mech from the past. It's been sitting there for a long time. They've established that. So these guys find her, and like instantly, my brain said, okay, if this were a Marvel book, she would turn around and beat all three of these guys up. But it's not. This is a book that the creators care about. They give a damn about this story, and they're not going to do some stupid stuff like that. So she's caught, she's cornered, she thinks she's captured, and then the mech activates. And I think I've skipped some pages for the copyright gods. Look at the design on this mech. It's really cool because it bursts out of the rubble, and you can see there's sort of a superstructure to the mech, and then there's sort of a substructure. This may be sort of an exoskeleton that a pilot can get into. Maybe it doesn't have a pilot. Maybe it's because of the blood, it's bonded with her, and it's set to her. She's going to be the only one be able to control it. Maybe she pilots it. Maybe she doesn't pilot it. Maybe it's just like a companion. It leaves enough of this open. That's sort of where we stop with this. And the next part, we cut to the Hudsoni. Now there are, this kind of gone back to tribalism in, I'm going to skip some more pages. We've kind of gone back to tribalism in North America. But it's kind of interesting how they set it up, because they kind of world build in the story. And then at the end, there's, I think, 4 pages devoted to explaining this is how these people got here. These people here, the Hudsoni, they started in Asia, and they migrated over because of environmental factors. They had to migrate over through Alaska, through northern North America. Along the way, their Asian culture, and you can see bits of Asian culture in the way they dress. And in just these few pages where you get here to get to this point, you can see the influence. And then you can see Inuit influences when they came through Canada, and they wound up in the Hudson Bay region. That's why they're called the Hudsoni. They're sort of the Aztec. They're sort of the conquerors. They They have slaves. They have conquests, things like this. This mechanism comes down from the sky and speaks through an oracle, and it basically says it knows that the slave girl found that mech, and it's like, okay, this has been activated. I think they call it a demon or something, and they say, okay, in a month we're gonna nuke this entire area. So instantly, the things that they start thinking about is like, okay, hey, they're gonna nuke a city that's very valuable to us. We have troops there, we have slaves there, we have to put ourselves, and they decide to go to that city and try to drive the girl with the mech south. So they're basically, whoever this influence is, this overlord type entity is like, okay, in a month, wherever that thing is, we're gonna nuke it. So what they want to do is, in their own self-interest, they want to drive it south into the prairie or the desert, and then they're gonna nuke it there, so they don't lose anything. So it sets up what's going on, the motivations of this empire, of this leader. He's called First Knife. I don't know if that's a president or if he's like a general. I don't know what that is. And that's sort of good sci-fi. This is them setting out to destroy it. This is good sci-fi. Good sci-fi leaves questions. Back in the old days of the Star Wars Extended Universe, we had questions. We didn't know everything. And that's what made it great. That's what makes a fictional world live and breathe, because you don't know everything. We don't know. Here's a good example. Even to this day, in the Disney era of Star Wars, we don't know anything about Yoda's people. We don't know where they come from. We don't even know where they're called. We don't even know what they're called. All we know, the only examples of Yoda's species that we have is a little bit of lore from the Clone Wars. Yoda and Yaddle. And Yaddle was just Yoda in a wig. So that's why she went away. But that's all we have. That's all we know of those characters. And that's what makes it interesting. There's things about the Harry Potter universe we don't know, although there's not that much. There's things about the Lord of the Rings universe that we don't know. And that's what makes it interesting. That's what keeps. So if you're world building, don't forget to keep mystery. Don't forget to make sure that the reader has questions. Why is this that way? What is this? Don't answer all the questions. You're there to tell a story. You're not there to answer all the questions, because that's what makes your universe interesting and engaging. Now, here's the part that I kind of liked at the end, and this explains who all the tribes of the Canadian Shield. This explains, it gives you a map of North America post whatever cataclysm. I'm assuming the polar ice caps melted, things like that. Like, it shows the region. But the only problem I have is, like, I think if it got bad enough to where Florida and the Southeast disappeared, I think all of these islands of the Caribbean would disappear too. A lot of Mexico would disappear. This would probably become ocean. You could probably travel through there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, okay? But I do find it funny that, like, as long as I've been alive and for the 40 plus years I've been around, like, the polar ice caps is like a wet dream of irrational, what I call alarmist climatologists. These alarmists, these we're all gonna die in 12 years. Polar ice caps are gonna be gone in 5 minutes. Things like that. It's like they start talking about the polar ice caps melting, and then they just want to start rubbing their nipples as they're talking about it. But yeah, it kind of goes into who these tribes are, and there's even tribes that haven't. I'm sure they'll come up later in the story that they haven't introduced yet, and you can even see in the way they dress. You can see a culture in the way that they dress, and it's very interesting to see. I'm kind of interested to see who these people are, what they do, what their influences are, and what their founding is. It's kind of cool that they put this in there. Once again, it's good world building that doesn't answer all the questions. Speaking of questions, why did I ever think I was going to get Battle Pug and enjoy it? Well, actually I did. When Battle Pug 1 came out, I was like, oh, that sounds fun, and I did a little research on it. I said, okay, this sounds interesting. It was a web comic. Let's go see what it was. Like, page 1 or page 2 was TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. There was a puppeteer who looked like Putin, holding a puppet that looked like Trump, and his head looked like a penis. And like if you go, I really hope comic book creators realize at this point, it's tired. Everybody's tired of it. We're all just sick of your TDS. And I mean, look at what TDS has done for the buying audience in Marvel Comics over the last 4 years. Yeah, do you want that? Is that the type of quote unquote success you want? So just knock it off, okay? Just tell a funny story. But this is a good story. I came back and I skipped stuff for the copyright gods. So this was take 2. I think take 2 was better. It feels better. But go check this out. Go pick this up. Yeah, it's probably not. I never read anything about it. Although Image Comics really does a shit job, as I pointed out in another video before. Image Comics does a really shit job promoting, and these creators are giving a piece of their profits to Image Comics for promotion. That they need to start demanding more, or just go to Indiegogo. Reach your audience. The 3 parts of a sale: find the people, tell them your story, ask them to buy. You can do that yourself. You don't need Image Comics. But like I said, I knew nothing about this. It was fresh. It came out on the stands. It was a number 1. It said new this week. I picked it up, and I am pleasantly surprised. Go pick this up. Thanks for your time. You guys go have a good weekend. I'm going to record some other videos today, hopefully. Maybe Farmhand, but DNC just did Farmhand, so I'm kind of stuck not wanting to do Farmhand. But yeah, you guys go have a good day. Go have a good weekend. Bye.